Hey everybody, it's Cody from Lazy Goblins here to do another tutorial in Core, and right now we're going to do a random weapon spawner with a loot table. So this is basically if you have a set of weapons or objects and you want it to be some weapons to show up when like more commonly than others, and so on and so forth. So say you have like a chest. This is probably the best way I can explain it. Say you have a chest and you have 3 weapons in that chest that you want to potentially spawn. Well, this allows it so you could set up the percentage chance of each weapon to have to spawn. Now, basically, what I have set up here is I got an empty group, and then I have our random weapon spawner. This is basically built off of the random weapon spawner that I created in an earlier video. So if you want, go ahead and check that out. That is the perfect thing for you if you just want to place in weapons or objects and just have a random one spawn. But this is for if you want more control over what chances each weapon has to spawn. And yes, I'm going to refer to these as weapons, but of course it could be like you could put objects in here. So if you have like coins, gold, med kits, anything like that, you could throw those in here as well, but I'm going to be referring to them as weapons. So here we have the custom properties. We have 8 custom properties altogether. 4 of them are asset references and 4 of them are int types. And what I just named them weapon 1 through 4 and then weapon 1 chance through weapon 4 chance, just to kind of keep things a bit easy. It would stink to have to come in here and actually label them with like what weapon they are. This just makes it so I could just throw in whatever, doesn't have to be. I mean, you could even label these object 1 through 4 and so on and so forth. But, so I have it set up where you have 4 asset references you can put in here. How you're going to want to do this is you're going to want to do it from most common to the rarest. So here I have a basic pistol to be the most common, and then the grenade will be the second most common. The rifle will be the third most common, and so on and so forth. And then down here, you set up the actual percent chance you want them. I recommend to do it off of a 100% scale. So make these numbers total 100. You can do it on whatever scale you want, 1,000 scale, 10 scale, 50 scale, whatever you want. Just make sure they match up to that number that you want. For me, it's 100. So the pistol that I have in the weapon 1 slot has a 60% chance to spawn. The grenade that I have in the 2 slot has a 30% chance to spawn. And the rifle that I have in the 3 spot has a 10% chance to spawn. Again, you're going to want to go from most common to most rare or rarest. Stick with that order. That's how the script works. We'll go ahead and demonstrate it, and then we'll get into the meat and bones of the actual script. So I got 3 positioned. They all 3 go from pistol to rifle. Hopefully we get a nice variation in here to demonstrate it. Of course, we might not get that because that pistol has a 60% chance to spawn. Go ahead and spawn here. Of course, it's all pistols. I'll try to show you guys later in the video. Oh, maybe we get something different here. Yep, all pistols. Okay, so I'll show you guys in the video. Again, I'll keep going until I get a variety. But I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. And let's get into the meat and bones of the script. Okay, so for the script, again, this is based off of my random weapon spawner script that I did in a previous video. So some of that, you can go check it out. I'm just going to kind of briskly go through it, and then once it gets to the loot table portion, which is what this kind of stuff is called, I'll go heavily into that. So here we have those custom properties for weapons 1 through 4, and then the chances. This just helps me access them. I have a local spawn weapon variable that I equal to nil or none right now. And then I have a weapons array where I put all the weapons from here into it. And if you ever want to expand on this or take away, you can. I just have it at 4 because I thought that would be a nice number. And then here is the loot table. So the loot table is basically just made up of all the chances. It's an array, just like the weapons array above it, but it has these right here, these int variables, these chances. We set them as in the actual core editor. And then we have the total, a total variable, which basically adds up all those chances to see what we're trying to work with here. And then we have a random index variable that gets a random number between 1 and the total. And like I said, the total is there so we don't get an index that we're not accounting for or anything. So you plug in the total right here. So this basically says 1 to 100, since that's what I'm working off of. If you work off of a 1,000 point scale, it'll say 1 to 1,000 and so on and so forth. It's just so we don't have to keep coming in here manually. If we want to change our mind, work on a 1,000 point scale instead of 100, we could just do that by editing these values over here in the editor. Then we have a local spawn pose variable that basically just gets the parent position. That way all we have to do is when we want to position this, we just need to move the group object around in the world. And here's where we get to the fun part. So we have a for loop that I'm still getting used to Lua, so bear with me. But we have a for loop that will go through, start at 1, and it will go through this hash loot table. I am pretty sure it's been a while since I did this, but I'm pretty sure this basically gets the length of our loot table array right here. So it's going to cycle through all these chances. But since that's the same length as the weapons array, it works out perfectly. I have it print the random index just as testing so I could see if it actually worked, and it did. And then we say if the random index is less than or equal to loot table I, so that I is right here. So if we're going through this loop the first time, that I will be 1, which will equal the first index, which is right here, prop weapon 1 chance. So it's basically saying if our random index that we generated right here is less than or equal to our prop weapon 1 chance, then if we have a weapon in the array, right, if weapons index 1, because we're still on 1, this is our first iteration through the loop, which we have prop weapon 1, but this is just to say, hey, if a weapon is there, then spawned weapon, I stash the actual weapon we're spawning into this variable, equals world spawn asset, this does the actual spawning, world spawn asset, weapons, and then 1, because that's the index, right? Weapon 1 index, because we're on the first iteration. And then spawn it at position of the spawn pose, which is the parent group object. And then once it spawns a weapon, it will break. It will stop doing the loop because we have found our weapon, we spawned it, and we're good. Now, here's kind of the tricky part. So if we get it, if the random index, right, is, how do I explain this? So the random index will get 1 through 100, say. If the random index, if our random index equals 60, I believe, or below, then it will spawn, according to this, because I got mine set up to 60, 30, and 10. So if the random index is 60 or below, it's going to spawn the first weapon. Right, so loot table I is basically referring to these weapon chances. So right now, right off the bat, we got 60 and 60. But if we get, like, say, 75, right, is the random index, our first iteration will be 60. Is 75 less than or equal to 60? No, it is not. So what we're going to do, this is going to get tricky, right? Try to, hopefully this makes sense. So if our random index is 75, the first iteration, loot table, is going to show 60 right here. 75 is not less than or equal to 60. So we're going to go to our else clause. And our else clause basically says, okay, make the random index equal to, which is 75 right now, make that equal to 75 minus our loot table I, which through the first iteration is 60. Okay? So 75 minus 60, what is it at? It's 15. So this random index will now equal 15. And then we're going to go through the loop again. I will now be 2 instead of 1. And it's going to say if random index, which is now 15, is less than or equal to loot table I, which should be 30. Now, because we're on iteration 2, and I have my proc weapon 2 chance as 30, right? So is 15 less than or equal to 30? Yes. Okay, spawn the weapon 2. Boom. So that's kind of how it works. Let me do this as if it was 90, right? So if we had 90, loot table I would be 60. Of course, I'll get rid of these so there's no confusion. Is 90 less than or equal to 60? Let's just do 95. 95, okay. Is 95 less than or equal to 60? No? Okay, then come down here. We got 95, and then random index, 95 minus 60, 35. Okay, perfect. So 35. Sorry. Now we come up here, and now this is, we're on our second iteration, 35, and our loot table I for the second one is 30, because we had 60, 30, 10. Is 35 less than or equal to 30? No, it's not. So we got to come back down here, and what we got here is we have 35 is our new random index, remember, and then we make that equal to 35 minus the new one is 30, right? So now our new index is 5. So then we come back through it our third time, and we say, okay. We say, okay, we're at 5. Is 5 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Okay, spawn that weapon 3, because we're on our third iteration. Alright, so hopefully all that made sense. And then down here on round end, we just destroy the weapon just so there's not duplicates of it. I really am hoping this made sense to you guys. It's kind of, especially if you're new to programming or scripting, for loops and things of this nature are a bit tough to kind of understand. But I hope I did a good job explaining it. Let's go ahead and try to see if we can get a variety to spawn now. Okay, cool. We got a variety now. So we spawned 2 rifles, which was our rarest one, and a pistol now. So as you can see, it does work. You get a variety. It's all just based on the randomness. I can actually show you how it worked. So here's the loot table going through actually. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys don't really fully understand the script, let me know. I'll try to do a better explanation video on it. But all you really gotta know is that just in the custom properties and the asset ones, put whatever object you want common to rare. So common being weapon 1, the rarest being weapon 4, and your chances match up to that. So most common chance to the rarest chance. Because these weapon 1 chance will match up with the weapon 1, and same with the others. I hope this helps. I hope this helps you all a bit. I hope this is useful for people. I might just start doing like intro to Lua scripting. I know Core has some amazing videos on that. So check those out if you're confused on any of the scripting stuff. I'm still learning it myself. And I know Core has a loot table object, I believe. Yeah, they have a basic loot table right here. I couldn't really figure out how to use it because on the top it says percent chance, and then it has this, which I don't know really how it's supposed to work, you know? Do I throw stuff into the loot folder, or I don't know. It confused me, so I made my own. I feel is a lot simpler. You just put your weapons here or objects here, and you pick the percents you want them to spawn. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. That's a pretty more advanced tutorial, I guess. Hopefully I was able to clarify it a bit and kind of give a good explanation on it all. But yeah, drop a like if this helped you out. Feel free to subscribe because I'm going to do some more tutorials on Core here in the future. Trying to do like 3 videos a week, 2 tutorials, 1 just playing games in Core. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot, gosh. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. And until next time, bye!